Bro, your girlfriend's cheating. Someone yelled, and in that moment, my world collapsed. I thought I'd lose myself in the pain, but I turned the betrayal into the sweetest revenge she never saw coming. Music thumped through the walls, and laughter filled the air as I pushed through the crowd, holding 2 plastic cups of beer. I remember smiling. Sophia was somewhere near the backyard, talking to friends. I was happy. At least, I thought I was. Then a voice cut through the noise. Man, your girlfriend's cheating now. The music stopped in my head. My heart did too. What? I asked, looking around. Tyler stood by the sliding glass door, pointing outside. I'm serious, Ethan. She's out there with someone. I didn't let him finish. The cup slipped from my hands. Beer splashed across the floor as I pushed past the crowd. People turned to look, whispering. My chest tightened with every step toward that door. Outside, the night air was cold. Light strung across the backyard flickered over faces I barely recognized. Then I saw her. Sophia. Her hands were around someone's neck. His face tilted just right under the string lights, Liam. My best friend. For a second, I couldn't breathe. My brain refused to accept what my eyes saw. Ethan, someone behind me whispered. Sophia pulled away first. Her eyes widened when she saw me. Ethan. Wait, this isn't. Don't, I said, my voice breaking. Don't even try. Liam turned, stammering. Bro, it's not what it looks like. I laughed. It came out dry and cracked. Really? Because it looks exactly like you kissing my girlfriend. Sophia stepped forward. It was a mistake, he was drunk, Then why didn't you stop? I cut her off. My throat burned. You didn't look drunk. You looked happy. People around us started murmuring. I could hear laughter, quiet, sharp, humiliating. Every sound made me smaller. Liam rubbed his forehead. Ethan, man, please. I didn't mean for it to happen. How long? I asked. My voice was shaking, but my hands were steady. How long has this been going on? Sophia looked at the ground. Silence. That long? I said bitterly. Wow. Ethan, please, she said again, grabbing my arm. I love you, I swear. Don't touch me. I pulled away. You don't love me. You just didn't want to lose the safety I gave you. Her tears came fast, the kind I used to believe were real. You mean everything to me. Then why him? She had no answer. Just shaking lips and guilt-filled eyes. Liam tried again. Look, man, I was drunk, Stop. I took a step toward him. You were my brother. You knew what she meant to me. You looked me in the eyes 1,000 times and lied. You both did. Tyler came closer, his voice low. Ethan, man, let's just go. But I couldn't move. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to make the pain visible. Instead, I just stared at them, the 2 people I trusted most, standing side by side like strangers caught in the rain. Sophia whispered, please, can we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about, I said quietly. You already said everything without words. The laughter from the house drifted back outside, echoing faintly. It sounded cruel, like the universe mocking me. Liam reached out a hand. Ethan. I stepped back. Don't. You've done enough. For a moment, none of us spoke. Even the music inside faded into something distant, meaningless. I turned away, my legs heavy, my heart pounding in my ears. Tyler called after me, but I didn't answer. As I walked down the driveway, the sound of laughter followed me, soft at first, then louder. It wasn't just the people inside laughing. It was life itself. And that was the moment I realized, everything I believed in, everything I loved, just shattered. I woke up to silence. The kind that presses on your chest until it hurts to breathe. My phone buzzed beside me, non-stop. I already knew who it was. Ethan, please. Answer me. Another text came through. I can explain. Then another. It's not what it looked like. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Not what it looked like. I almost laughed. What else could it have been? The memories from last night kept looping in my head, her lips on his, the way she looked at me when she realized I'd seen them. I buried my face in my hands. The phone buzzed again. I finally answered. What do you want, Sophia? Her voice cracked through the line. Please, just hear me out. Hear you out? You had all night to think of lies. Go ahead. It wasn't planned. Liam was drunk. He kissed me, and I froze. I didn't mean for it to happen. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone. You froze? Looked like you melted into him. Ethan, please, she cried. I made a mistake. No, you made a choice. For a second, neither of us spoke. I could hear her breathing, shaky and desperate. I love you, she whispered. You know that. I laughed bitterly. You don't cheat on someone you love. You cheat on someone you think will forgive you. She sniffled. I don't know why I did it. Because you wanted to, I said. Because Liam made you feel something I couldn't. That's not true, she yelled. You were distant lately. Don't, I snapped. Don't you dare turn this on me. My voice echoed through the empty apartment. I felt sick. Every word felt heavier than the last. I'm sorry, she whispered again. Can I come over? Please. Just talk face to face. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say no, to hang up and never hear her voice again. But another part, the weak part, wanted to see her, to believe she was still the same girl I loved. Fine, I muttered. Come over. When the doorbell rang 30 minutes later, I almost didn't open it. My reflection in the mirror looked hollow, like someone who'd aged years overnight. When I finally pulled the door open, Sophia stood there, messy hair, tear-stained cheeks, holding her phone like it was a lifeline. Ethan. I stepped aside silently. She walked in slowly, like she was afraid the floor might collapse. This place feels so cold, she said quietly. Yeah, I muttered, it didn't used to. She sat on the edge of the couch, twisting her fingers together. You're not even looking at me. I've seen enough of you, I said. She flinched. I know I deserve that. I stayed standing, arms crossed, trying not to fall apart. I can't stop thinking about it, she whispered. How you looked at me last night. I hate myself for it. You should, I said flatly. Because now every time I close my eyes, that's all I see. I swear it didn't mean anything. Then why does it mean everything to me? I shot back. You didn't just cheat, Sophia. You humiliated me. You did it in front of everyone. With my best friend. She covered her face, sobbing. I lost control. No, I interrupted, you lost respect. For me. For us. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. Please, she begged, I'll do anything to fix this. You can't fix what's dead, I said softly. Her eyes met mine, wet, broken, searching for mercy. But there was none left. I should go, she whispered. Yeah. My voice cracked. You should. She stood slowly, walking to the door. Her hand lingered on the knob. You'll regret this when you calm down. I almost laughed, but it came out as a sigh. Maybe. But I'd rather regret letting you go than regret keeping you. The door closed behind her. For a long time, I just stood there, staring at the space she'd left empty. My apartment felt like a tomb, and I was the ghost trapped inside. I sank onto the couch, silent. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, listening to the faint echo of my own heartbeat. And in that quiet, I realized the truth: betrayal doesn't kill you instantly. It just makes you wish it did. Sophia showed up again 2 days later, eyes red, voice trembling. Please, Ethan, can we talk? I leaned against the doorway. We already did. You just didn't like how it ended. She swallowed hard. I didn't come to fight. I came to explain. I stepped aside, letting her in. Go ahead then. Lie to me properly this time. Her eyes flashed with hurt. It was a mistake. Liam kissed me first. I pushed him away, but you came out before I could. I let out a low laugh. That's the story now? It's the truth, she said, voice cracking. You think I wanted that to happen? I think you wanted it long before it did, I said quietly. She blinked. What does that mean? You used to talk about him, I said. Remember? How funny he was. How confident. You'd laugh a little too hard when he joked, and I'd notice. I told myself I was overthinking. That's not fair, she whispered. No, what's not fair is watching the two people I trusted most tear me apart and then hearing excuses. Her tears came again. You're twisting everything. Liam means nothing to me. You're the one I love. Then why does it feel like you're performing that line for yourself? She shook her head. You've already decided I'm the villain. I crossed my arms. You made that decision for me. Ethan, please, she said, stepping closer. I miss you. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I know I messed up, but can't you just see that I'm sorry? Sorry doesn't erase the image burned into my head. She wiped her cheeks. We can move past it. We've been through so much. Yeah, I interrupted, and I thought it meant something. Guess I was wrong. Don't say that, she pleaded. You still love me. I can see it. I sighed. Love doesn't mean trust. And right now, I can't even look at you without seeing him. She took my hand suddenly, desperate. We can fix this. I'll block him, delete his number. Don't bother, I said, pulling my hand back. You can't delete what you already chose. Her face hardened. You're really just giving up on us. There's no us left. You'll regret this when you calm down, she said bitterly. That line hit like a slap. I stared at her. You really think I'll regret letting go of someone who betrayed me? You're angry, she said softly, almost pitying. I know you. You'll come around. No, I said, shaking my head. You don't know me anymore. Silence filled the room. The air felt thick, heavy with things we'd never unsay. She sniffled, grabbing her purse. Fine. If this is what you want. It's what I need. She stopped at the door, turned one last time. I hope you find what you're looking for. I nodded. I already did. Clarity. The door clicked shut behind her. The sound echoed like the end of something sacred. For a long moment, I stood there staring at the empty space she'd filled. Every lie, every fake apology replayed in my mind. It was a mistake, he kissed me first, you'll regret this. I sat on the couch, letting the silence settle. My chest felt tight, but beneath the ache, something else began to grow, a sharp, cold awareness. I whispered to myself, never again. And for the first time since that night, I meant it. I stopped counting the days after the second week. My alarm still went off at 7, but I didn't wake for it, I just stared at the ceiling until guilt forced me up. Coffee had lost its taste, sleep had lost its purpose. Work was the only place where I could pretend I still existed. Ethan, you okay? Nora asked one morning, her voice soft, almost too kind. Yeah, I lied, staring at my monitor. Just tired. You've been just tired for 3 weeks, she said, setting a paper cup beside me. Double shot. You look like you need it. I tried to smile. Thanks. She lingered, waiting. You don't have to tell me what happened. But maybe you should tell someone. I'm fine, I said, even though my throat burned saying it. Her sigh was quiet but heavy. Fine is a dangerous word. It usually means you're breaking. I didn't respond. My inbox was easier to face than her concern. Still, her words stayed with me, following me through every spreadsheet, every email. At lunch, she sat across from me again. You always eat alone now, she said, opening her salad. I like quiet. No one likes quiet that much, she murmured. You used to joke around, remember? I looked up from my half-eaten sandwich. Maybe that guy's gone. Maybe he's just buried, she said softly. People don't disappear, they shut down until they feel safe again. I swallowed hard. And what if safe doesn't exist anymore? Her eyes met mine, steady and warm. Then you build it yourself. That night, I sat in my apartment, lights dim, silence thick. Her words replayed in my head, you build it yourself. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had to start somewhere. I opened my phone for the first time in days. No missed calls. No new messages. Just dust collecting in digital silence. Then, instinctively, I opened social media. And there it was. A photo, Sophia, smiling. Liam's arm around her. Both of them radiant, like betrayal could somehow be beautiful. The caption read, "Sometimes you find love where you least expect it." My heart didn't break this time. It just stopped caring. I stared at the screen, reading the words again and again. My hands shook, not from sadness, but from the realization that I had wasted every ounce of myself on someone who never saw me. My phone buzzed. Nora again. Still at the office. You okay? I typed back before I could think, not really, but I will be. A few seconds later, her reply came. Good. That's the first honest thing you've said all month. I laughed quietly to myself, a strange, bitter sound. The next morning, Nora found me at the coffee machine. You look different, she said. Didn't shave, I joked. No, not that, she said, studying me. You look like you stopped running from something. I took a sip of my coffee. Maybe I did. We sat together during lunch again. She talked about her dog, her weekend plans, random office gossip. I barely said a word, but her voice filled the quiet places inside me I didn't know were still alive. Later, as I packed up to leave, she smiled. See? Not every day has to hurt. Some days still do, I said. But maybe pain's supposed to teach you something. She nodded. Maybe it teaches you who deserves your silence. I walked home through the cool night air, her words echoing in my head. The city lights blurred through my thoughts, but for the first time in weeks, I wasn't numb, I was aware. When I reached my door, I hesitated before turning the key. The apartment was the same, cold, quiet, familiar, but something inside me wasn't. I sat down, phone in hand, and looked at that photo one last time. Her happiness no longer hurt. It just proved what I'd already learned, I wasn't the fool anymore. I deleted the picture, then the app. The silence that followed wasn't suffocating, it was peaceful. That night, I didn't dream of her. I didn't dream at all. I just felt free. The first time I stepped back into the gym, the air felt heavier than I remembered. Maybe it was just me carrying everything I'd refused to face. Long time no see, the trainer said. You back for good? I think so, I replied, adjusting my headphones. This time it's not about anyone else. The first set burned. The second hurt worse. But the pain was clean, honest. It didn't lie or make excuses. Every rep stripped away the noise she left in my head. By the third week, my body started to change. By the fourth, my mind followed. Nora noticed first. You're smiling again, she said one afternoon at work, handing me a coffee. Am I? I asked, half laughing. Yeah, she said. It's weird. I kind of missed it. Guess it was bound to come back eventually. Or maybe, she said, leaning on the desk, you finally stopped living in someone else's story. Her words hit harder than any workout. Maybe you're right. She smiled softly. I usually am. We started having lunch together more often. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we just sat in silence, and for the first time, the quiet didn't scare me. It felt earned. One evening, as we packed up, she said, you ever think about what's next? I shrugged. Next as in? As in what you want. Not what you lost. That night, her question stayed with me. I opened an old notebook, sketches, business ideas, plans I once thought I'd chase with Sophia. I stared at the first page, app for small business inventory automation. My dream. My idea. My reason. The next day, I told Nora. Remember that startup idea I had a while back? The one you were obsessed with before. She paused, catching herself. Before everything? Yeah. That one. I think I'm ready to start again. She smiled. Then do it. And don't wait for permission this time. Weeks turned into months. I worked during the day, coded at night, lived somewhere between exhaustion and exhilaration. Every milestone felt like a small act of revenge, not against her, but against the version of me that thought love meant losing myself. One night, Nora called. You sound different lately, she said. Different how? Grounded. Like you finally found your rhythm. Maybe I just stopped bleeding for people who never checked if I was okay. There was a pause. You deserve people who do. I smiled. You sound like one of them. Her voice softened. Maybe I am. The next morning, during my run, a coworker texted me, Dude, you've seen Sophia's post? I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. The photo was gone, replaced by vague quotes about trust and healing. Another post showed Liam alone at a bar. I scrolled past it without a flicker of emotion. At lunch, Nora noticed my calm. Bad news? She asked. Not for me, I said. Apparently, paradise doesn't last. She studied me. Does it make you feel better? Honestly? No. It just reminds me I made the right choice. That's growth, she said, smiling. Real growth. That night, I stared at my computer screen, watching my prototype finally run without errors. It was simple, not perfect, but it worked, and it was mine. I took a deep breath, feeling the same rush I used to feel when I loved someone who made me believe in possibility. Only this time, that someone was me. When I sent the first version to beta testers, I whispered to myself, this is what rebuilding looks like. Later, Nora texted, How's it going, Mr. CEO? I replied, Just finished the first test run. It works. Her response came instantly. Told you. Success suits you. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. For the first time in a long time, the silence wasn't a reminder of loss, it was the sound of progress. Sophia's name didn't cross my mind again that night. Not once. Because I'd finally learned the truth, the best revenge isn't hate, it's evolution. The day my startup officially launched, I stood in my small office, staring at the live dashboard on my laptop. Orders were coming in. Real people were using something I built from scratch. Nora clapped beside me. You did it, she said. We did it, I corrected. Couldn't have done it without you. She smiled. You finally sound proud of yourself. I think, I said, exhaling slowly, for the first time in a long time, I actually am. For weeks, life felt like motion, smooth, steady, unbroken. My days were filled with calls, updates, ideas. My nights were quiet and calm. No ghosts, no flashbacks, no bitterness. Just peace. Then one evening, my phone rang. The name froze me for a second. Sophia. I stared at the screen before answering. Hello? Her voice cracked. Ethan, hi. Didn't expect to hear from you. I know. Can we talk? About what? It's not what you think. Please, just, hear me out. I really need to see you. Something in her tone was fragile. Against my better judgment, I said, fine. One coffee. Public place. We met at the same cafe where we'd once planned our future. She sat in the corner, wearing the same perfume that used to drive me crazy. Now, it just lingered like an echo. When she saw me, her eyes filled instantly. You look good, she said softly. Thanks. You don't. She flinched. I deserve that. I didn't come to hurt you, I said, sitting down. So, what's this about? She hesitated. Liam cheated on me. I blinked once. Karma moves fast. Her lip trembled. I thought we were happy. Then I found messages. Pictures. Everything. I sipped my coffee slowly. That sounds familiar. Tears spilled over her lashes. I get it now, Ethan. What I did to you, it's haunting me. Every day. I said nothing. She kept talking. I told myself you'd moved on. That you didn't care. But when it happened to me, I realized what I'd thrown away. You didn't deserve it. Any of it. Her voice broke on the last word. The old me would have reached across the table, wiped her tears, believed the apology. But now? I just watched. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. I just needed to tell you I'm sorry. You were good to me. Better than I ever was to you. I nodded slowly. You're right about that. She looked up, startled by my calmness. Do you still hate me? I don't, I said. Hate takes energy. I stopped giving you mine a long time ago. She looked at me like she was searching for a trace of the man she remembered. I thought seeing you would help me feel better. But it just makes it worse. Maybe that's what growth feels like, I said. It hurts before it heals. She let out a shaky laugh. You sound different. I am. Her fingers fidgeted with her cup. Do you ever think about what we could have been? Sometimes, I admitted. Then I remember what we actually were. Silence stretched between us. The kind that used to suffocate me now felt like closure. Finally, she whispered, you really did move on, didn't you? I did, I said. And I found peace in it. Her tears fell harder. You deserve better, Ethan. I did deserve better, I said, standing up. And I found it. I left a few bills on the table and walked out. Outside, the evening air felt light. For the first time, her voice didn't echo in my head. My past no longer held me. As I crossed the street, my phone buzzed, a text from Nora, big investor meeting tomorrow. Ready? I smiled. More than ever. And just like that, the chapter that once broke me finally closed itself. Success has a strange sound, it's quiet. No applause, no fireworks. Just peace. Every morning I wake up before sunrise, make my coffee, and watch the city light up from my apartment window. My company's doing better than I imagined. I'm finally living the life I once begged others to believe in. One afternoon, my phone buzzes. The name flashing on the screen makes me laugh, Liam. I let it ring out once, twice. Then another notification, hey man, long time. Heard about your startup. Proud of you. Let's catch up sometime. I stare at the message for a few seconds, then lock the phone. Nice try, I mumble. You're a little late. Later that night, Nora notices my distant look. You okay? She asks, sipping her tea. Yeah, I say. Just saw a ghost trying to text me. She smirks. Liam? Yep. Pretending he cares. What did you say? Nothing. I didn't reply. She smiles. That's better than 1,000 angry words. I know. Silence hits harder. Days later, I open Instagram. Sophia's account pops up on my feed. She's been posting again, black and white selfies, vague captions like some mistakes last forever and be careful who you hurt. I shake my head. Regret looks good on her, I say quietly. Nora looks over my shoulder. She's trying to get your attention. She's wasting her time. You sure? I turn to her. Completely. That weekend, I'm invited to a tech networking event downtown. Nora insists on coming. You need someone to make you look approachable, she jokes. Or someone to keep me from punching old ghosts, I reply. When we walk in, the room is buzzing, reporters, investors, familiar faces from college. I'm halfway through a conversation when I hear a voice I haven't heard in months. Ethan? I turn. Liam stands there, wearing a wrinkled blazer and a forced smile. Beside him, Sophia, looking smaller than I remember, her once confident eyes now heavy with something else. For a second, it's like time folds. The party. The betrayal. The silence. Everything returns in a heartbeat. But I'm not that man anymore. Liam, I say calmly. Didn't expect to see you here. He laughs awkwardly. Yeah, man. Life's been rough lately. My company tanked. Investors pulled out. You know how it goes. I nod. I do. It's tough starting from the bottom. Sophia clears her throat. Hi, Ethan. Hey, I say, meeting her gaze for only a moment. Hope you're doing okay. She swallows hard. You look different. I should hope so, I reply. A lot's changed. Liam tries to lighten the moment. We should catch up sometime. Maybe grab a drink, talk business. I don't think that's a good idea, I say with a polite smile. I've got everything I need right here. I glance at Nora. She steps forward, shaking his hand confidently. Nice to meet you both, she says. Sophia's eyes flicker between us. Is she? Yes, I interrupt. She is. Sophia looks down. Liam forces another laugh, but it cracks halfway through. I extend my hand toward him. Good luck, Liam. He shakes it, his grip weak. Yeah, you too, man. I smile, steady and genuine. I already have it. Then I walk away, Nora beside me. Behind us, I feel their stares but no longer their weight. Outside, the night air feels clean, almost forgiving. Nora squeezes my hand. That was smooth. That, I say, smiling, was the sweetest revenge. I used to think betrayal was the end of everything good inside me. That once someone broke your trust, you'd never be whole again. But I was wrong. Betrayal doesn't destroy you, it reshapes you. It strips you down to your rawest form and forces you to rebuild from the ashes. This morning, I woke up before the sun. Nora was still asleep beside me, her breathing calm, steady. I sat by the window with my journal, the same one I'd started the night Sophia cheated on me. Back then, every page was filled with anger and confusion. Now, it's filled with peace. I clicked my pen and started writing. Some endings aren't meant to be fixed. They're meant to teach. Nora's voice broke the quiet. You're up early again. Couldn't sleep, I said softly. Had some thoughts to get out. She stretched, smiling faintly. About the past? About everything, I said. Funny how something that once felt like a curse turned out to be the reason I'm who I am now. She sat up, pulling the blanket around her shoulders. You've come a long way, Ethan. Yeah, I said, closing the journal. I used to wake up feeling hollow. Now I just feel grateful. She tilted her head. For what? For the pain, I said. For the lesson. For the people who broke me, they made space for something better. Nora smiled. That's not something most people admit. Most people don't survive it, I replied. But I did. And I learned that moving on isn't about forgetting, it's about forgiving yourself for holding on too long. She reached over, touching my hand. You talk like a man who's finally free. I am, I said. I thought revenge would set me free, but it was peace that did. We sat in silence for a while. The room was filled with that gentle, morning kind of quiet that feels sacred. I thought about Liam and Sophia, not with hatred, not with bitterness, but with distance. They were just chapters one outgrew. Nora broke the silence. If you could go back, would you change anything? I looked out the window. The first light of dawn was breaking over the horizon. No, I said. If I changed anything, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be me. She leaned against my shoulder. That's a beautiful kind of closure. It's the only kind worth having, I whispered. For a long time, I believed closure came from apologies, from people admitting their wrongs. But real closure comes from yourself. From deciding that the pain doesn't get to define you anymore. I stood up, walking to the balcony as the sky shifted from gray to gold. You know, I said, it's strange. The night everything fell apart, I thought I'd never see light again. But it turns out, the darkness was just teaching me how to appreciate the sunrise. Nora joined me, her hand slipping into mine. "So," she said softly, "what's next for you?" I smiled. "Living. Loving. Building. Maybe failing again, but this time, I'll know how to stand back up." She rested her head on my shoulder. "That's all anyone can ask for." The sun broke fully through the clouds, painting everything in gold. I took a deep breath, feeling the warmth hit my face. "I lost everything once," I said quietly, "but that's how I learned what really mattered." Nora looked at me. "And what's that?" "Peace," I said. "Peace is the ultimate revenge. If you're reading this, maybe you've been broken too. Maybe you're staring at the pieces of something you thought would last forever, wondering how to start again. I know that feeling. I lived inside it for months, thinking the pain meant I'd lost everything that made me human. I used to think losing love was the worst thing that could happen. It's not. Losing yourself for someone unworthy, that's the real tragedy. I learned that the hard way. I gave everything I had to someone who didn't even know how to hold it. And when it all fell apart, I blamed myself for not being enough. But I was enough. I always was. I can almost hear you ask, then why did they leave? Maybe because they couldn't handle your depth. Maybe because their version of love was smaller than your capacity to give it. Whatever the reason, their departure isn't your defeat. It's your beginning. When I lost her, I thought revenge would heal me. I thought making her regret would bring peace. But revenge only tied me tighter to the pain I was trying to escape. The real freedom came when I stopped caring whether she remembered my name. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see the man who was betrayed. I see the man who rebuilt himself from it. If you're still in that dark place, hear me, you won't stay there forever. One day, the pain will stop feeling like a punishment and start feeling like a teacher. One day, you'll wake up and realize you don't need closure, you just need peace. Don't destroy yourself trying to make them regret losing you. Live better so you never have to look back. Live in a way that reminds you of who you are, not who they made you feel like. I used to think endings meant failure. Now I know they're proof you had the courage to begin again. So, if you're reading this, rebuild. Don't run from the ruins. Grow from them. Because the truth is, you were never broken beyond repair. You were just waiting to become someone new.